I believe we're at verse 17.
Con, it says, and she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, who am I? Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that my soul may bless, that thy soul may bless me.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly? And he said, because the Most High Power has brought it to me. And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High Power did set it up for Jacob to get that blessing, man.
It was like 5 minutes after that. Like, why here?
Yeah, yeah. It takes long. It don't take a long time to go out there and hunt and get the meat and all that, So he was questioning that, but he said the Most High brought. What's wrong with back in? He said that because the Most High thy power brought it to me, and that did. He brought the opportunity. He brought him. He brought that opportunity to Jacob, man, and making Esau go out there, for a period of time while all these things can get set up, man. Yeah, why? Because that was the will of the Lord. That was the will of the Most High, man. Verse 21. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. So he was convinced that was Esau, pretty much, man. By the smell, by the feel and the touch, because he was in old age. He probably had poor eyesight, man.
Or
24, and he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I'll eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come now near now, and kiss me, my son. Verse 27. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which the Lord has blessed. Therefore the Most High give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine.
Mm-hmm.
It says, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blessed be that he that blesses thee. So that's a future prophecy, man. It says right there, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee, because that's exactly how the Israelites are going to rule the next coming age, man. All nations are going to bow down to the Israelites, man. All nations are going to serve the Israelites. All these other heathen nations, they're going to be tributaries and servants and slaves to the nation of Israel, man. He's going to give us the heathen for our inheritance, man. Because we're good. Why? Because we're co-inheritors with Yahweh Shai. So that's a future prophecy, man. Are we in that position of power right now? No, but there's a reason for that, man. If you learn the scriptures, there's a reason for that. Well, part of it because we're under the curses, so we have to be taught a lesson, man. So the Lord's setting everything up, man. And part of that's Job 9:24, the earth is given to him the wicked. So he's getting his carnal blessing right now, his temporary blessing, but we're gonna get the eternal blessing, man, which is with a far greater blessing. It says, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Lord, be Lord over thy brethren. So be master over your brothers, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blessed he that blesses thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also, so there you go again, man. One of the characteristics of Esau is hunting, man. And every time you go, like we always bring this up, every time you go to the supermarket and you see the hunting magazines, there's always a so-called white man on the front of it, man. You're never gonna see a so-called Mexican and a so-called a Negro, on the covers of those Field and Stream or those gun magazines, man. It's always gonna be Esau. So because that's his blessing, man. That's his blessing. His blessing is a sword, which is the modern day sword, is the gun, and he likes to hunt, man. Them backcountry boys, them hillbillies, they like to go hunting, man. Deer hunting, all that other, they like being in the field. Hey, you got a magazine called Field and Stream. That's a hunting magazine, and it's filled with Edomites, man. So that's the other characteristics, and it's just the power of deduction, man. Using common sense to decipher who the people of the scriptures are, man.
Now, do some of our people do like hunting? Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting it. but not as common. Like it's more common for Esau.
Well, the thing about it is that when our people hunted, we hunted for survival.
Mm-hmm.
Esau hunts for sport. You know, he just hunts because he likes to kill things. But when the Gadites and Native Americans, when they hunted the buffalo, they did it as a form of survival, man. And I'm pretty sure they're better at it than Esau ever can be. You know, because we are the former of all things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they do it for sport. You know, we do it for survival, man. We do it out of necessity. We do it for food. You know. I'm gonna keep on going.
Okay.
Verse 31.
Let's start at verse. Yeah, keep on. There's one. Yeah.
And he also made savory meat and brought it to his father and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. That thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? He said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly. He said, Where is he that has taken venison and brought it to me? I have eaten all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. Why? Because you can't reverse it, man.
Yeah.
He couldn't reverse the blessing that he put upon Jacob. It was already done. It was a set deal. The words already came out of his mouth. You know, it was already proclaimed.
At the moment, he thought that he just gave some random person a birth, the blessing, but truly that's not what happened though, because you keep reading on, it'll show you that he's like, oh, never mind then. Go ahead.
Count 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, my father. And that's why it says in the book of Hebrews that he found no place of repentance, even though he sought it with many tears.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw nothing but a big crybaby, man. You know, he's crying about some bullshit that he got himself into. You know, it's like someone doing a crime. You know, they're crying when they get sentenced for that crime. They're the same, man. You don't do the crime that you can do the time, man. You know, so he's crying about his own wrongdoing.
Like, I didn't know fire was hot.
Yeah, I didn't know the fire was hot type deal, man. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great exceeding cry, a great exceeding and bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. He said, Thy brother came with subtlety and has taken away thy blessing. That's why he's called that. That's why the word Jacob means a planner, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Is not." That's what's going to explain right here. He said, "Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times," which was a lie. It was a lie, man. You know, Esau didn't get tricked into selling his birthright. Remember, man, the scripture, he offered to sell his birthright. There was no trickery involved, man.
It was like just some fine print that said also that
Yeah.
we also just have a birthday, but it doesn't matter.
And he said, "Is not his rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing." He said, "Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?" And this is all through the Spirit, man. This is all done through the Spirit. This was all done because this is the way the Most High wanted it to play out, man. You know, so the Lord, from the very foundation of the earth, the foundation of time, he was setting up these 2 different manners of people for the roles and positions they were going to play in the future, man. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, "Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?" And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also." So there he goes again, crying about it again, man. "Oh, my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. There he goes, being a crybaby again, man. You know, Esau the crybaby. And Isaac is, yeah, that's because he is a crybaby, man. Because look, when Esau gets in trouble, he thinks he's supposed to get away scot clean, man. You know that you can see that, man. You know, because the scripture says he's not in trouble as other men. You know, so the same crimes that Jake commits, Esau gets a lighter sentence, man. So he doesn't really face justice, so to speak, man. Verse 39, Isaac his father answered and said unto him, "Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above." And
Basically, he just gave me like a pity blessing, like, fine, you hear this, shut the fuck up, basically.
yeah, here you're gonna get this, and these at least do live on the fatness of the earth. They live on the richest part of the earth. They get all the. If you see Esau today, the so-called white man, he lives in all the best communities. His neighborhoods have all the best schools, the best hospitals, you know, the best grocery stores. If you go to the so-called ghetto of Barrio, you're not gonna see that quality over there, man. You're gonna see a lot of things that kill our people: liquor stores, gun stores, check cashing places, these Moab spots where it's selling you dog meat and cat meat, man. These fast food spots selling you poison that destroys our people. So we don't live we're not living in the fatness of the earth, man.
Like thinking of that, my own testimony went to California a few while ago,
Mm-hmm.
and like I was like, oh, this is my vacation, right? And I noticed one of the spots that these motherfuckers travel to, I actually feel like I actually lived for once my whole life, man. It was like the air was just so fresh,
Mm-hmm.
like that, like damn. And I know that our people ain't living. I realized, like, man, before that I wasn't living. It wasn't living. I wasn't being peacefully. That's like, yeah, enjoying life. Like, damn.
No, you're in slavery. Every day was a struggle, man.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we have to wake up, and we have to be told what to do. You wake up. Still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, you wake up and you got to go to work, man. And you're not the boss at work either. You're the labor. You're the hired hand. You're the servant at work, man. We have jobs. We have service jobs, man. Whether it be food service or labor service. Jake has service jobs, man. We live in a especially Issachar, so-called Mexican. He worked like a damn, well, like a donkey. He worked harder than fuck, man. But he ain't on top. He ain't running the company. So say our people are under a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 40, and by that sword shalt thou live, and that's evident too. Everywhere Esau goes, he conquers, man. He conquers, he kills to gain. The perfect example of that is when he came over here and he pretty much wiped out the Native Americans, the tribe of Gad, man. They were pretty much wiped out. There was a statistic that said when before Columbus came, there were 7 million Native Americans up on the continent. But by the time it was all said and done, going down to the Cowboys and Indian days, whatever you want to call them, there was only about 2 million left. So 5 million were destroyed, man. That's not a small number either, man. You gotta think about the logistics of that. 5 million people.
It's gone.
It's gone, man. Destroyed, killed. He massacred Gad, man. That's why the scripture said the troops shall overcome thee. So at Gad, the Native Americans, they were massacred. They were massacred, man. You can read about that in you can read about that history, man, in certain books, man. They're not gonna teach you that in school. That's why you got to get into the real history of things, man. Dad was massacred, and the so-called Negro, he was massacred, man. There was many deaths of the so-called Negro, man, in America, and they continue on today. The slave times up to this day. The same thing was Issachar, so-called Mexicans, man. All the people, all the tribes, they were massacred, man. See, by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt break the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off his neck. Yeah, because they had what they call the Renaissance. Before that, Esau was in a state of low estate. He was a caveman. You can read about that, and I think Job the 30th chapter, man. Yeah. That caveman-like state that he was in. But that's what they called. After that, they had what they called the Renaissance, which is the rebirth. That's when Esau, he started acting civilized, so to speak, and started covering the faces of the judges thereof, man, covering all the images of the real depictions of the Israelites and who you call Jesus Christ, which was a so-called black man, according to the Bible, man. But now he's in a position of power, so he broke that yoke from off his neck, man. Verse 41. Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, and Esau said unto his father, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, and then I will slay my brother Jacob. And that's the same mentality that Esau has toward you, Jake, today, you so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. He has that same mentality to slay you, man.
So now we read that. All right. So who's Jacob and who's Esau? All right. We got the two systems of how they're when they're born and how they lead up to even to the blessings.
Mm-hmm. Now
it's like they have the fatness of the land. So we get a description of who Esau is. That is a so-called white man. But they try to say that they're Jacob. You should say that that everybody's Jacob or that they're Jacob, which isn't true, man. Because you go to Job 9. I got it. Yeah, John verse 24, and it reads, "The earth is given to the hand of the wicked; he covered their faces, the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So the earth is given to the wicked, man. And you read back here in Genesis that the Esau had the fatness of the earth,
mm-hmm.
and shall rule with a sword. And this is what he's doing right now. That's not like, oh, everybody can say just Esau's done away with. No, man, Esau's still here today.
Yeah, he's still there. It doesn't matter what vocab Malone says, man. Because that's what vocab Malone that bug out. That's what he tried to say, that Esau has already been done away with, man. He's still around, you know.
It's wickedness, man. But they try to say right now, I guess it's the second Esdras 6 and 9, that they say the so-called Jews, they're in Israel, that they're the real Jews, that they're all Judah supposedly, and that they're the actual, that they're the children of Jacob.
Yeah, they try to say that, man. These white supremacists, they're Aryan.
Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah, or not these other groups. I forgot what they're called. But they try to say that all the European nations are Israelites, man. You know, which is a lie. Why? Because they're not living under the curses. You know, the curses don't apply to them. You know, so they're not, man. And these fake Jews, they try to say that they're the Jews. You know, they try to say they're the tribe of Judah because that's what Jews is shortened for Judah. So if they're the tribe of Judah, where are the other tribes, man? You know, they try to, in the other European Israelites, they try to say all this crazy nonsense like the Swedes or the Issachar and all this, that, the other, but they don't got the scriptures to back it up, man. You know that European Jewish philosophy, you know, they don't got nothing to back it up. I mean, that's why you don't see that. If they were the people, man, then they would be out there in the street corners preaching. Because that's what's going to happen in the last days. But they're not. Who's out there? Who did the Most High put the Spirit on to preach His word? You know, the true Israelites, the so-called Black and Latino Native American, man. That's why you have GMS camps throughout all the world, man, preaching the gospel, the good news. And it's only good news for our people, and specifically, it's only good news for the elect, man.
It was Genesis. Second Esdras 13 and verse 39. Get it real quick.
Yeah, the second Esdras 13 and 39, and it says, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto them. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the next verse.
Verse 40.
Yeah.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Samosar the king of Israel led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, so came they into another land.
Mm-hmm.
But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
These are the 10 tribes that left, man. So they're going across the sea to a land that they never been to before, man.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know what today, through the scriptures and context, that this is where we in the Americas, man.
Yeah, the Americas, North and South America. That's where they went. And those 10 tribes were the Northern Kingdom, man, which consists of the so-called Latinos and so-called Native Americans, man. You know, and that goes from Gad all the way to Issachar to the so-called Puerto Ricans, Ephraim, you know, and so on and so forth, man.
Mm-hmm.
But they took counsel among themselves that they would have them leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and he held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Asareth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that word Asareth, it means a new land, or land not discovered, something like that, man, if I'm not mistaken. Verse 46, then they dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come.
No, not to that. Basically, so those are the true Jews over there, right? Supposedly, say the two Jews are in Israel right now.
Yeah, the so-called Amalekites.
Yeah. So where are the 10? Then how can they explain the 10 tribes? Where they went to?
They can't. They have no explanation for that, man. You know, and that's why they took the Apocrypha. That's one of the reasons why they took the Apocrypha out the Bible, because it holds information just like this.
Because look, it wouldn't. How would you know that 10 tribes left, man? Yeah, they just took this whole thing out of the scriptures, man. They take the whole thing out of the scriptures to fit their own agenda.
Yep. And Christopher Columbus, he read the Apocrypha, man. That's how he knew that. That's how he knew that we were over here. The Israelites were over here, because he took a Jewish interpreter with him.
I didn't even Luis something.
Yeah. And he was what they call a Spanish Jew, I think, man. So he took a Jewish interpreter with him because he knew that the Israelites were over here, man. You know, so he went into the Apocrypha. You can see that in that movie 1492, man. You know, brothers always talk about it. You know, that's a movie that uncovers that. And Christopher Columbus, he was a so-called Jew. He was an Amalekite, man. You know, go ahead.
Yeah. But that's when I get to the curses that will happen unto Israel, unto the true nation of Israel, man. Because, like I said, these people like they're trying to say, oh, the true Jews are all the European nations are the Jews. Well, they read the curses how they don't fit the curses up among Israel, man.
Mm-hmm.
Next, when we get to Deuteronomy. I'm sorry, 28 verse 15.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass that thou wilt not hearken to the voice of the Most High thy power to observe to do all his commandments and the statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee."
Now saying like, all right, if you don't follow the commandments, this is going to happen unto you. What?
Con, it says, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city," and it's talking about America, because America is a great big city. If you go to I think it's Revelation 17:18. Let me get it real quick.
Huh.
It's Revelation